As you wrote from our emails, the idea was to have a little informal get-together and do a few things differently. And I think you know that we've had the blind tasting of these Proseccos today, and followed by the master class. And we thought we'll keep it informal. I thought we'll have some people maybe hang out outside, but it's too cold for that, even if you're smokers. So I think you don't want to catch pneumonia. So we shifted the venue to this place. Prosecco masterclass. But 7-8 years ago, I had visited Prosecco area, and I thought this was absolutely the ideal wine for India, as a sparkling wine. I talked to the Prosecco consortium, the president and this and that, but India was not that shiny at that time, so they didn't have money to spend on India. But as you know, today, Prosecco is one of the fastest growing sparkling wine in India as far as the imported wines are concerned. Every importer that I've talked to has had a 30% growth this year. They may not have had growth in any other area, but they are very happy with Prosecco, and the consumers are very happy with Prosecco. One of the reasons is, of course, the price, and every importer today has some Prosecco or the other, and more are coming in. So what is Prosecco? And can anybody tell me which is the most exported sparkling wine in the world? Most exported sparkling wine in the world. Anybody, any guess? Who said champagne? Okay, anybody else?
Prosecco.
Value or volume?
Volume. Value because champagne is so expensive, you can never beat them. Value wise. Okay. Last year, and I predicted this 4 years ago, that Prosecco is going to overtake champagne, and last year they actually did. Champagne, they exported 304 million bottles, whereas Prosecco, they exported 307 million bottles. For the first time, the results for this year have not come, but I'm sure it will be the gap will be even wider. Reason is kind of simple, that places like England, for example, where sparkling wine or champagne has been very popular, you go to a bar, they even sell you by the glass like 20 champagnes. But because of the meltdown and the recession in the 2009 and 10 period, people dumbed down and they started drinking Prosecco, and they kind of liked it, and they figured, well, why pay 3 or 4 times the amount? And so the sales went up. Some of the retailers recorded 300 to 400% increase, and nobody was less than 100%. So you can see that it became popular in the last 3-4 years. What is Prosecco? Prosecco is simply a sparkling wine made in northeastern part of Italy. Is called Treviso. Province of Treviso is where they make it. It is made from a grape which is actually called Glera, but over the years they used to call it Prosecco because it was known and popular as Prosecco. So they continued with that concept, and it helped them develop the brand as Prosecco. But what happened in countries like the US and many other countries, especially in Australia also, they started selling Prosecco because it was getting popular, so they would call it Prosecco and sell it. And obviously they didn't like it. So they went to the EU and got it registered as GI. Now GI, I don't want to go into that, but it's like Vanaspati is rice is GI, turmeric is GI, champagne is GI, Porto is GI. So similarly, Prosecco is a GI. In 2009, they got it registered. And what they did, they're very smart people. In 2006 or 7 when I went, they sold about 20 million bottles. So you can see today they have sold 300 million bottles. How have they done it? What they did, there was an area, there's a beautiful town called Cornigliano, about 50 kilometers north of Venice. And from there, there's a 27-kilometer stretch to another city called Valdobbiadene. So around that area, they've been making Prosecco in this form for the last 150 years or so. But grape as a still wine, they were making more than 300 years ago. So when people started doing this, they said, no, our grape is Glera and our wine is Prosecco. And they were able to get it registered. But since the area was very small, the outside area, they used to call it IGT. Indicazione Geografica Tipica. In Italy, they do that where when the grapes are only from that particular region, and you can make any way you want. So lots of IGT wines were coming to India also, I do remember. And there, for example, with Prosecco DOC, which it came to be in 1969, if Prosecco is selling for 3 to 5 euros, the IGT wine is available at 1 euro to 1.5 euros. That was quite a difference. And so these people were selling, I know in India also we got IGT wines exporting all over. But the government, the appellation control, the consortium, they became very smart. They upgraded their own wines, which were DOC wines, to DOCG. And they said other IGT wines are considered as DOC. So we don't know that over here, but the whole lot of new markets and production areas opened up. And so now you got DOC and DOCG. No IGT is not allowed anymore. But most of the wines that are coming from the other old area are DOC wines. Cheaper wines, but then over the years they've been making efforts to improve the quality, and quality has come up in many of these areas. So they make this wine from a method called Charmat method. Now it's interesting that it was first tried out actually in Cornigliano. Cornigliano is the oldest area where one of the wines called Carpone Malvolti we have had today. They are made there, and this winery was started. First winery in the area was started 1865 around there. So they were making initially with the double fermentation in the bottle, like you have champagne or most of the Indian sparkling wine. But they realized that the Prosecco grape did not go very well with that process. So they started developing this Charmat. It was not Charmat at that time. They started developing this thing where the second fermentation is done in the steel tanks. And after that, they bottle directly from the tank, because under pressure, they bottle it and sell it. So in the meantime, they experimented with this process, but at the end, it was a French guy, Charmat, who was able to patent the process, who was able to make the process for industrial use. So that's where it became popular, and today you have this Charmat method which is used for the making of the wine. What they do is they make the base wine from the Glera grape to a level of about 11% alcohol, and it's called base wine. And after that, they put it into the tank and let it ferment. They put some more yeast into it, and the fermentation starts again, and the level goes to about 12%, and the wine is ready in the tank. They cool the wine in the tank to 0 degrees, and then they bottle it directly onto the bottles. So because of the process difference, you find that these wines are fruitier, they're lighter, and of course less labor, so they're less expensive. So that is the secret behind Prosecco being lower cost. It's the secret behind being a special flavor, because that's the only grape that's allowed to be used. There are 4 different grapes which are allowed to be used also as a blend, but 85% has to be Glera, and the 4% are these different grapes. I don't want to bore you with the names, but they are the ones who help either acidity or increase or decrease or give little flavor and things like that. So the winemaker has a choice, but they call it Glera grape, and they don't call it a blend. It's a varietal Glera, also known as Prosecco. Now, let me tell you the style of Prosecco. Now, as champagne, as you know, is also brut, extra brut, dry, extra dry. There are different levels of sugar in champagne, because in champagne there is something called liqueur de tirage, which is the addition of sugar before it's disgorged. Before the wine is ready to be corked, they put some sugar, cane sugar, or in a liquid form. They put, and they control the quantity of sugar in that. Now in this Prosecco, that's not possible, so they add sugar depending on what they want, and they are defined generally brut and extra dry. Now, yeah, this is very confusing. I don't know why they try to confuse the word. Brut, extra dry, and dry. Brut is sugar between 0 to 12 grams per liter, and then becomes extra dry, 12 to 20 grams a liter, and then it's dry, which is 20 grams and plus, which is like 50 grams. It goes to that point. And here on the drier side, you can call it 0 to 12 as brut, or 0 to 6 called extra brut. And then there is 0%, we call natural or zero dosage, zero dose, which means no sugar is added to it and it becomes very, very dry. Now, most people do not care for dry wine like that in India anyway, and so therefore, in India, they are importing only two kinds, the brut and extra dry. So what we have today, you can check out the bottle later on. We have brut and extra dry. We got whatever we got, what's available we got, and those are the only two kinds. Now, what happens?